Grandkids, what outdated tech did your grandparents hilariously misuse? My grandma Marcia is the sweetest human alive but has absolutely zero tech knowledge. Like, still uses a flip phone in 2022 level of tech illiterate. I was staying with her for a couple weeks during summer break because my parents were renovating our house and it was uninhabitable with all the construction dust and noise. Grandma lives in this cute little house she's been in since forever, and she has this spare bedroom that's basically a time capsule from when my mom was a teenager. Anyway, the first night I'm there, I'm unpacking and I find this ancient iPod Classic in the dresser drawer. Like the chunky silver one with the click wheel from literally 2005 or something, and I'm low-key obsessed because it's such a vibe, so I plug it in to see if it still works. Miracle of miracles. This thing actually turns on after charging. The battery is trash, but it works when plugged in. I start scrolling through the music and OMG, it's all these amazing early 2000s songs my mom must have loaded on there. Lots of Usher, Black Eyed Peas, Avril Lavigne, absolute gold. So I'm using this thing occasionally in the evenings while I'm staying there, mostly with headphones, but sometimes playing it through its tinny little speaker when I'm in my room. Grandma sees it a couple times but doesn't say anything, just gives it curious looks. About a week into my stay, I notice Grandma is acting weird. She keeps checking the mail anxiously and making these concerned faces at me when she thinks I'm not looking. I figured maybe she was worried about a bill or something, but whenever I asked if everything was okay, she'd just smile and say, "Oh yes dear, everything's fine." But it was not fine. I could tell she was stressed about something. She started taking phone calls in whispers out on the porch, which she never does. And one day I overheard her talking to her friend Amy on the landline about being worried about money, which was super weird, because Grandma is usually pretty comfortable financially. Then one afternoon, I come home from meeting up with some friends and find Grandma sitting at the kitchen table with her checkbook out, looking absolutely devastated. Her eyes are all red like she's been crying. I immediately panic and ask what's wrong, and she just pushes this envelope across the table to me. It's a phone bill. Or at least, that's what the envelope says. It's actually just her regular monthly statement. But she circled a number in red pen, $698. And next to it, she's written, "International?" I'm confused so I ask her what this is about. And she takes a deep breath and says she knows I've been calling people overseas, and that she's not mad, but she doesn't understand why I wouldn't just use my cell phone instead of running up her landline bill. I'm completely lost at this point. I haven't used her landline once the entire time I've been there. I basically live on my cell like any normal person my age, but she's convinced I've been making international calls. So I ask her to show me which calls on the bill are the problem. But here's where it gets weird. She can't actually find specific calls on the statement that add up to that amount. The bill looks totally normal to me. Then she says, "It must be from that phone gadget you've been using in your room." And that's when it clicks. The iPod. She thinks the iPod is some kind of phone. I'm trying so hard not to laugh as I explain that it's just a music player, like a Walkman but digital. It can't make calls at all, let alone international ones. She looks skeptical as hell. But I've heard you talking to people on it. Turns out, she'd walked by my room a few times when I was singing along to songs and thought I was having conversations with people. Like she literally thought I was on phone calls with friends because I was responding to lyrics. But she's still not convinced about the bill. She keeps saying there must be some explanation for why it's so high. So I asked to see her previous bills to compare. And OMG, the bill isn't high at all. The $698 figure she circled, that's her account number. Not a charge, the account number at the top of the bill. But it gets better. When I explain this to her, she gets this look of confusion and then relief, and then embarrassment. And then she confesses the full situation. Not only did she think I was making international calls on this ancient iPod, but she had already called my mom, her daughter, in a panic about it. And she had called her bank to set up a payment plan because she was worried she couldn't pay it all at once, but didn't want to ask me to stop talking to my overseas friends because she thought they might be my boyfriends or something. And then she tells me she'd been secretly unplugging the Wi-Fi router every night after I went to bed because she thought that would stop the international charges, but didn't want to tell me because she didn't want me to feel bad about not being able to talk to my foreign boyfriends. I literally collapsed on the floor laughing.